Welcome to the Market Bias Tracker Weekly Stocks Roundup. This week, the board told two very different stories depending on which names you were watching. Leaders pushed higher with conviction, while the weak side stayed under consistent pressure. That split is the headline for this week, starting with the broad market tone. Out of 50 stocks tracked, 17 finished the week in bullish territory and 17 finished bearish. The average score across the board sits just under 5, which is roughly the midpoint. That number alone tells you this is not a broad rally. It is a market where leadership is doing the work, and the rest of the board is either treading water or sliding. The tone is split, and that split matters. On the bullish side, 3 names stood out clearly. Alphabet was the strongest name on the board this week. It held a bullish bias for every single reading across the week, with no bearish or neutral readings recorded. The weekly move was meaningful, and the daily time frame remained firmly in bull trend territory. Broadcom also held bullish all week, with only a small portion of readings coming in neutral. It added to its weekly price, and the daily structure stayed supportive. NVIDIA had the most interesting week of the 3. It started the week in neutral territory and shifted to bullish by the close. The weekly price gain was the largest of the 3 leading names in percentage terms, and the daily bias confirmed the move. All 3 names carry some short-term caution flags, particularly around momentum divergence and stretch conditions on the shorter time frames, but the daily structure for each remained constructive. Now the weak side. McDonald's was the weakest name on the entire board this week. Every single reading across the week came in bearish, with 0 bullish or neutral counts. The price moved lower throughout the week, and both the hourly and daily timeframes are aligned in a full bear trend stack. The daily RSI is sitting in deeply oversold territory, and exhaustion and bounce risk flags are elevated, which means the pressure has been significant. Netflix also held bearish all week, with no bullish readings recorded. The price drifted lower, and the daily structure remained in a bear trend. AbbVie shifted from neutral to bearish during the week, adding to the weak side count. These 3 names represent a consistent pattern of pressure, not just a single bad day. When you look at leadership quality, the picture is clear but narrow. The leading names are holding up, but the gap between the top of the board and the bottom is wide. This is not a market where everything is moving together. Alphabet, Broadcom, and NVIDIA are doing the heavy lifting on the bull side, while a meaningful portion of the board is either flat or declining. Leadership exists, but it is concentrated. That concentration is worth noting. The main caution from this week comes from the short-term time frames on the leading names. Stretch conditions, momentum divergence, and exhaustion flags appeared across several of the bullish leaders. These are not signals that the trend is over, but they are reminders that moves can pause or pull back even when the daily structure is intact. On the weak side, McDonald's carries elevated bounce risk flags, which means the downside pressure has been sharp enough that a relief move is possible without changing the broader structure. Looking ahead to next week, the key question is whether leadership broadens beyond the current concentrated group. If Alphabet continues to lead but other names do not join, the rally remains fragile at the surface level. Watch whether the weakness in McDonald's and Netflix stabilizes, or whether that pressure begins to spread to other names. The ATR stretch conditions on the short-term time frames are the main technical caution heading into the new week. That is your weekly stock context from MarketBiasTracker. You can find the full board breakdown at MarketBiasTracker.com. Everything here is market context, not a signal.